Vladimir Tarasenko has been traded to the New York Rangers. We're going to go over our initial thoughts and the breakdown in this video of Ringside Digest. Hello and welcome to this video of Ringside Digest. I'm your host, Kirk Day, along with my co-hosts Noah Byrne and Nick Miller. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Good to hear.
Good.
So, breaking news. Tarasenko has been traded to the New York Rangers. So, this trade is pretty good for the Rangers, gotta say. So, the trade just basically is Vladimir Tarasenko and Niko Mikkola are headed to the St. Louis Blues for Sammy Blais heading back to St. Louis, Hunter Skinner, a conditional first-round pick in 2023, and a conditional fourth-round pick in 2024. So, we're just going to go straight into the initial thoughts. So, I've initially thought for this trade when I seen it, I was like, this is going to be an interesting one. I'm very interested to see what the Rangers are going to give up to acquire Tarasenko. When I seen what they got, I was kind of blown away. It's not very much. Like, what do you think about it, Noah?
Yeah, I feel the same as you. When I first seen it, I didn't think it was enough. I mean, I was at work and I was kind of checking my phone, making sure nobody's looking, and I was waiting to see if it was going to be more. You know, like Tarasenko, he's a perennial 30 goal scorer, right? And then you get a pretty solid D-man a pretty solid last pairing D-man in Mikkola. For a late first rounder, a guy who's kind of been struggling in Sammy Blais, and a lower tier prospect, that's nothing. You know, not to mention that they retained 50% on Tarasenko. I think maybe Sammy Blais has a little bit of upside, but you pair it with the first rounder, which is most likely going to be 25, 26, not enough.
I agree.
No, and my initial reaction was just, here starts the pre-deadline moves. Like, I know from an entertainment standpoint, this kind of thing sucks, but it's gonna start because teams are not gonna want to be in a last-minute rush trying to get everything done, and maybe the value drops last minute, or maybe it goes up. No one really knows, but yeah, what was given up by New York was really, I thought it was nothing, because you know that this draft class is pretty deep, but it's going to be a very late first round pick. The Rangers were in the Final Four last year, and now they've gotten better. So what does that mean? That means it's going to be 31st or 32nd. Like a decade ago, that was a second round pick. So, you know what I mean? I just don't. I don't like it. I don't like it for the Blues. That being said, the Blues starting to burn the house down kind of makes sense. It's been 3 years since they won their Stanley Cup, or 4 years now since they won their Stanley Cup. They got what they needed with Tarasenko, and he's very loved by the fans there. I'm sure they're all very upset about giving him up, but I mean, I think there's a time. Hockey's still a business, and there's a time and a place for a trade for everybody, and I think their time for Tarasenko, O'Reilly, Barbashev, maybe that's now. And the Rangers, they got their top line winger. Like they had to do this. Jimmy Vesey was on their top six. That's not good enough. Like, you're not going to go very far in the playoffs when you have Jimmy Vesey playing on your top six. It's just it just won't happen. He's playing with Zibanejad and Panarin, and he has what, I'm not sure how many points he has. Less than 20. So that's not a good thing. It's like not even half point per game. That being said, he can be a very good fourth liner, I would say, playing with Barclay Goodrow, and I'm not sure who they're going to put on the right wing down there, maybe Gauthier. But the point being, the Rangers now have a powerhouse of a top six, and probably one of the best first line in the league, if not the best.
Yeah, for sure. Now, we're just going to jump into the breakdown of the trade. So, I'm going to pull up a screenshot here from Cap Friendly, which shows all the details. And it's Vladimir Tarasenko with 50% retained, so he's making now $3.75 million. Along with Niko Mikkola, headed to the Rangers for Sammy Blais, Hunter Skinner. The conditional first-round pick is the later of the two picks that the Rangers have this year. So whichever one is like the later pick will be their one that the St. Louis is getting. And the conditional fourth round is if the Rangers make the playoffs, that fourth round moves to a third round. So those are pretty good conditions for the picks, because the Rangers don't really give up too much. I think both ways, the pick will be a late one. No matter if it's Dallas's or the Rangers, because both are probably going to make the playoffs and could have a chance to go deep in the playoffs. And the fourth round, move up a round, the Rangers are going to make the playoffs, so that's basically just going to be a third-round pick in next year's draft. And that's a win. So, like, with Sammy Blais headed back to St. Louis as well, I mean, that is what it is. But the Rangers chose between Tarasenko, Patrick Kane, and Timo Meier. Now, Tarasenko was the cheapest of those options, being able to get down to 3.75 with 50% retained, or being 50% retained, as well as knowing they could probably re-sign him, since Tarasenko has not been, now, like, the Stanley Cup winning Tarasenko. But if they can re-sign him for a good price and keep him long-term with his friend Panarin on the first line with Zibanejad, like, that's a fantastic line. So what do you think about that, Noah? How do you think that this is going to affect him?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to reiterate the number you said there, 3.75. Like I said, I stated before, a 30-goal scorer, like a perennial 30-goal scorer at 3.75. It gives the Rangers. I'm not exactly sure what they are crunch to the cap in sense of cap wise, but that's very, very affordable, and you might see them add another piece. In the sense of their lines, it gives them such a more offensive boost. To make another playoff run. Like I said again, he's a proven goal scorer. He slots in so well on that top line with Panarin and Zibanejad. I personally think Zibanejad is one of the most underrated players in the league, but that's another video. That line is just amazing. I think Nick said that earlier. You pair that with that second line and how well that second line with Lafreniere, Hedl, and Kakko, that young line has been doing. This team's top six could get them very far come April.
Yeah, and I think really it's a good top nine. If you add Kreider, Trocheck, and that second line, that's just phenomenal. That's really good. Yeah, exactly. Like the 50-goal scorer from last year. Yeah. And I mean, you add that with their other two lines that they got there you were talking about. That's really good. That can get you places. And then Barclay Goodrow down there on the fourth line, playing on that Tampa line. We all know the Barclay Goodrow, Coleman, and Gord line from a few years ago. He's got the experience of winning 2 cups. I mean, that Rangers team, that top 9 plus that's really good. And we know their defense has come a long way. But I think this really puts the Rangers in a good position to maybe win the Metro Division. Like later in the season, climb up and catch up with, I think it's Carolina right now and New Jersey. I think that puts him in a really good position, and I'm excited to see if Tarasenko can rediscover his old self while playing with his old friend Panarin and a more than capable first-line center in Zibanejad.
Yeah, for sure. I'd like to see that. Now, this trade also has some implications throughout the league as well on players who are going to be dealt. So, like, for example, I think Timo Meier now is more likely to get moved sooner than later, because now that's one of the top wingers taken out of the trade pool. So Timo, if someone's looking for a top-line winger that has a possibility of re-sign, Timo Meier's one of the top ones left. It's pretty much him and Patrick Kane. As we know, Patrick Kane has like a short list of teams he'd be willing to go to. And now that takes me as well to Patrick Kane. Now he's likely to get traded since his team list was so short, and the Rangers we know were one of those teams. So I think we're going to see a lot of trades starting to come up now and get more into talks with them.
Yeah, I also think it sets the market for guys like Timo Meier and other top trade targets come March 3rd. This trade poses the question: what are the other teams in that Metro Division going to do, and even that the Eastern Conference going to do? Like, maybe you see Carolina try to acquire Timo Meier, or even like a guy like Barbashev, say, right? And it's to try and compete with the Rangers. It's a very interesting trade for the league.
Yeah, for sure. That's all we got for this video, guys. We're going to be breaking down all sorts of trades as they come along, all a bunch of news. We're going to have it all. So make sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, all throughout the season, throughout the off season, like I've always said. So that's it for this one, and I'll see you guys later.